Hello guys, and welcome back to another video by me, Flute084 Art and Games. If you're new to the channel, then I'll give you an explanation of what I do here. I do a little bit of polymer clay, I do a little bit of illustration on paper, and I'm now going into digital art as well. But today's video is going to be something that I saw watching a YouTube channel, but it wasn't actually a crafting YouTube channel. It was looking at items that people might buy, and as I like to sort of make things that people will buy, because I have myself an Etsy channel. And later on in the video I'll tell you a bit more about that Etsy channel, but for now I am going to be telling you that I am going to be making a frog type creature sitting on a sofa in a nice little reading you a book pose. You hopefully would have seen that on the thumbnail, so you clicked on that video to see that one. And this is me showing you how I made it and what steps I took to make the whole thing. But hopefully you will enjoy the video. Without further ado, let's get into that video. As you can see, my voice is dubbed over because I, some reason, can't find a way to get my face and my voice to go at the same time. I'm using the worst camera I can because the camera that I used to use is on my PS4, and I'm now using my PC to edit things. So let me know how my edits go along in the videos as well, guys. If you've got any comments, obviously leave them at the bottom. But if you would like to watch all the way to the end to find out how I make this frog, then obviously keep watching. So I did say I was going to be showing you how to make this. Well, I've already made the sofa or the seat back already. I did. You can top in the corner where on my quick little TikTok, which you can go and check out. But shows you how I made that seat. It's something I did off camera, and it was just sort of when I started to think of the idea. I thought I can make a seat, and I thought what could sit on that seat, and then I ended up making a frog. This is basically how I made that frog. I've got myself some armature wire. You can pick up from. I picked it up from Amazon. It's fairly decent priced. You can get it from other places as well, but I tend to get all my stuff from the same place, so it all comes at the same time, or I order everything at one go and it all comes. I've had problems with other places like Hobbycraft to get my items to make things out of. So yeah, I always order the same stuff together. But with the armature wire, obviously I covered that in polymer clay, then baked all of that so it had a form and was ready to be starting to add the feet and the hands. Hands are very awkward, and I really didn't know what to do with the feet with this one, but I sort of looked at other people's creations that they'd made for a frog and just sort of winged it, really. I was like, I wonder, if I do this, and I thought to myself, they've got to have webs on their feet. I forgot all about webs on his hands, but I think they work out anyway because he's holding a book, which I'll show you how to do that right now. Hopefully right now. There we go. But yeah, got myself some tin foil because I wanted to make the book a little bit stronger and keep its form whilst he's holding the book, because I do bake everything together in one go. I wasn't going to, but because he was holding the book quite pretty well, I thought, I'll bake it all together. So I get myself some tin foil and a very thin, like a crepe, thinner than a crepe or a pancake, piece of polymer clay. The polymer clay that I'm using is actually Fimo. It's really soft, it works really well, and you can use it pretty much for everything you want to make. And it obviously bakes in the oven. But yeah, like I said, I get myself tin foil, put it between two pieces of thin polymer clay, and then sort of add a few more layers on top of that, so I could give it like a opening or a flicking leaf of a page sort of look, so it looks more like a book, and just gives it a little bit more dimension to it. Looks a little bit better to me. So I did a little bit of a leaf, and then put on the back of the spine of the book, just really trying to make it look as best I could to like a book as possible. I have made a book before for an Etsy commission. I just sort of took that idea and went a bit smaller with it, really. So I went ahead and baked all of that, and then after I'd baked all of that, I sort of start working on its head, because I wanted to bake it and then be able to start moving, faffing around with its head, because I want to go bashing anything, smoshing anything, because the hands, it took me such a long time to do. I don't want to sort of deform the hands and end up having to make them again. But yeah. Sort of massing around the head. It is on another pre-baked piece of clay, because I wanted to have it something to form onto and have be able to sort of remove it, put it back. Again, I was worried about it being smoshed while I was placing it and putting it back on and taking it back off, and sort of playing around with it to make it look the best I could. And just faffing around with the shape of it. There's one good thing about it, when things are a little bit thin, you can move them ever so slightly, but I wouldn't go like really trying to force the movement. You can move the clay ever so slightly, so you can sort of change your form a little bit. To say if it's baked in the oven and it's deformed a little bit because of the way it was sat or the way you've laid it down or whatever. Yeah, but definitely. I wouldn't go faffing around with it too much, but you can move it a little bit. If you get a few cracks, you just fill it up with a little bit of clay, smooth it out, and you've got jobs are good and really. But yeah, I've faffing around with the head, trying to give him a back, and just sort of keep playing with him until I was happy of the frog shape. And as you can see, I've added a little bit more to him. I did that again off camera. It was something after I baked him, I thought I'll just quickly do something on him. I gave him a scarf and a little hat, and that's as much as more of what I've actually done to him. I didn't know if I told you, but he has actually got magnets in the chair and in the bum. So he actually stays on the chair, but you'll also be able to remove him and put him on the side of it and put him in different poses, and he'll stay in those poses. But we're getting into the painting now. Normally, with a base coat, I will go like a dark base coat or a white, go over with a grey or go over the white. But I thought the whole thing was going to be green, so I thought pointless me trying to go over it with the grey and then go over it again with the green and again and green again with the green. I just went over it with the base coat of green. It did take me 2 coats to go over with the green for a skin colour, because the clay obviously takes a minute or two. It takes a bit of painting for it to soak in, and you get those brush lines, and I just wanted to make it look good. So I went over it a couple times with some green. I did the same for the chair, where I just overcut again. I didn't base coat it. I just went over with the base coat that I wanted the chair to end up being, which was blue. And this here took me, I don't know if it's because the blue was too watery. I didn't add any water to it, but the blue doesn't seem to take very well in the paints that I have. So I gave that about 4 different coats of blue before it was completely happy. And one thing I have learned is if you're going to do that, you can hair dry it and dry it a few times. You know, dry it with a warm setting, not hot, because you'll end up damaging the clay, or even a cold hair dry, and it'll dry it up within minutes. It'll be dry, and you can start adding some more coats of paint to it. I dried it so much that I did three of those coats on the green and the coats on the blue, and I ended up starting to do the other things on him, like his scarf and his hat. I wanted to go with orange. Now, orange is meticulously hard to get done in one coat. Again, it took me a couple coats. Normally, when going through this process, I will put the base coat down, then I'll put another layer of the same colour, and maybe another third layer if it's still not taking very well. And bear that in mind, if you're going to do it yourself, the paint doesn't always take it, and some of these YouTubers out there won't tell you that. So yeah, I'll definitely tell you that the colours that you're going to put down may take 2 to 3, maybe even 3 coats to put down. But I go with an orange for his hat and his scarf. I ended up changing a little bit to his scarf and his hat, because it was looking a bit too orange, if you like. It was all orange, and I just wanted to put a little bit of dimension and colour to it. That's the worst camera I've got. It always goes off centre. And now I'm painting the really tedious, faffy part, which this is called the book. It took me a couple coats to do the white of the pages, and the brown. Or the brown only took one and a bit, should we say, a bit. Just a touch up here and now on the brown for the back of the book. I don't want to go too fancy with the book, and I don't want to look like an old-fashioned he's reading a storybook to you. He's sitting there reading a book. But yeah, the paint took a while, but it was so fiddly trying to get into those back pieces in between his fingers as well. Because like, damn, I've done the green really well, and now I've got to go around the fingers with a bit of brown. So it took me a bit of time, but I got there. I then thought to myself that cushion was looking a bit too mixed in with the with the chair itself. I ended up painting it black because I had some black, because I was doing a Deadpool and a Wolverine thing at the time. I ended up changing the colour of it altogether and adding a little bit more to the chair later on in the video, so keep tuned for that. But I don't know if you noticed, but I put a little worm, like a little pet for him. Like you have a person, you have a cat sitting on there on top of the chair. I thought I'd put a little worm as a little funny little pet for him to have sitting there. You know, he's reading a story and the cat's or the worm's sitting there. They don't purr, but you know what I mean. Just sort of make him sitting there. Finally getting around to the like I said, I put a little bit yellow on there. I'm now getting into the last final little bit. I added a bit of yellow to his feet and his knees and his shoulders and his elbows and his back as well, because again it was looking a bit too green and I wanted to make him look more froggy, if you like. So I know old frogs are green, but I added a little bit of yellow to everything and the black for his eyebrows, because he's actually got an expression that you'll see that later on in the shots, because I've got some stills for you to check out at the end, because again this camera's not the greatest, because I can't seem to get a good position for it, and it always falls off the stand I've got, as you saw earlier in the video. with the fine little touches here and there on the chair, because I wanted to give the chair a little bit of a dirty look, as if the chair has been used and well used and sat in and loved, so it's gotten a bit dirty on the arms. Like, I don't know if your arms of your chair get a bit dirty when say it's getting old, and especially your granddad's favorite chair. Let's think, he would have eaten his dinner, he would have drank his tea and whatever, and he would have kept that chair for years and years and years and years. And I just wanted it to look like that this chair had been well used and was getting a bit worn out, should we say. So I ended up putting a bit of last final touches on the chair itself, and ended up making it look a bit worn. Again, I go one final thing over the frog itself, because there was a little patch here and there where I'd gone over the green, so I was going to touch up the brown. Touch up the green. And I was going to paint the words into the book, and I was deliberating whether to actually put anything in the book, but I ended up getting myself a pen and just writing in, well, not writing, but squiggling in a bit of wording in there, or something that looked like wording. Whether it'll stay there, I don't know, but hopefully it will. It worked pretty well, and this is the pen I would normally ink with on paper, so hopefully I haven't damaged it. But yeah, I used a pen to put a bit of squiggly writing on it, and yeah, that's pretty much it, completely done. So all that's left is to get on to the glamour shots right at the end. They are going to be stills, so keep tuned to see how it all turned out. There we go. There's the first shot. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. And once again, guys, thank you very much for watching my video of how to make, well, not how to make, but me making a frog sitting on a chair. Some people said it's looking like Kermit on Facebook, but I'll leave it up to you if it does look like Kermit. I think it's just a frog sitting on a chair reading a book, and with his little wormy friend in the background. Like I was saying, you can sit him in different things, and you can see that book there. But otherwise, I will leave you with the rest of these shots, and if you are interested in having one made for yourself, or buying this one particular, then head over to etsy.shop. That's www.etsy.com/UK/Bloot084creation. That is my Etsy. There is a link will be posted down below, so you can click on that and go straight to it, or you can find links over on my Instagram, TikTok, and also on my Facebook. And yeah, thank you very much once again, and see you in the next one.